All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, on the 1010XL app, make sure you download that app. You can get all the on-demand content. A lot of it's done right from the studio, the podcast studio. You can listen live to the radio, which is literally right through these walls. The studios. Logman just got in. Got a chance to say hi to my old teammate and good friend, Jeff Logman, as they're getting ready for Jaguars today. I'll join them on Friday. You know, look, I love coming here and doing the podcast because I get to vent and rant and ramble and rock and roll. And on the radio, I got to wait till Friday. You know what I mean? After a game of a great game, a great win by our Jags. Of course, Catching Up with Tommy Mac, brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. I love all the businesses that are a part of it, whether it's the Truck Accident Law Firm, Carpet Man, Azar Sausage, J-Dog Junk Removal, Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds, or Meat 55. They're all great. We got some new ones coming too, and potentially we're working on an additional show out at an establishment at the beach that would like me to do it live. It's going to be guest-driven heavy. We're working on that. So it'll be Thursday night happy hour. Stay tuned in Jax Beach. I'm not going to tell you where yet because we haven't solidified it, but it looks good. Like we're going to be able to add that, and I'll bring some friends with me. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, Jags beat the Bills 25-20. Look, what did I say last week? That this is an opportunity for Trevor Lawrence to show that he is one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League. Everybody knows that Josh Allen of the Bills is, and he showed it. He is ridiculously good. But guess what? Our young QB went to the duel and battled his ass off. I'll tell you the biggest difference, one guy was fighting for his life. The other guy had more time to throw more times than not. Trevor Lawrence just got the crap kicked out of him, and he kept coming, kept throwing dimes, kept throwing even though he knew it was still coming. I'm telling you right now, as a former player, and I know you feel this way as a fan, but when your quarterback does those things, like sacrifices his body, maybe an injury to make the throw, and then makes the throw, you're like, whoa. Making the throw when they're open and you got time in the pocket, that's great, but that's your job. Making the throw when someone's smashing the face, and then again and again and again, and you're still making the throw, still making the right read, still getting it done. Pressure in your face. That throw to Zay Jones. Beautiful catch, by the way, and I'm glad Zay's back, and I hope he's okay. We'll find out more. But the defender's right in his face. There was a whiff. It's funny. You see on, these stat companies, there was zero pressure, and Scherf's like looking at the guy going right by him like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? He went right by him, for crying out loud. But nonetheless, our quarterback dueled, I thought, and proved that, yes, he's an up-and-coming, one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League. I'm not going to call him top 2, 3, or 5. We'll wait till the end of the year for that. But what Trevor Lawrence showed was the fact that he can go toe-to-toe with some of the best, and he did just that. Look, injuries happen. The Milano injury hurt, the Daquan Jones injury, no doubt about it. But guess what? Everybody has injuries. We didn't have all our guys either. And, look, I'm not going to go through that. I find it funny that people, the jet lag. I mean, how many people actually played in the game, a pro game, any game, high school, college, pro, a real game, and I don't care what sport you're talking about, that's actually, had jet lag. I've gone the other way. We played Oakland in 96. I don't think I went back out there because 97 I was hurt. We played San Fran. I didn't make that trip. 98, I don't think we went out there. 99, I was hurt early. But 96, we went out to Oakland. I think we went out on a Friday night. I don't know. Whatever. You still play the game, Take some more salts, whatever. So it's funny how people, they want to look, it's fans. It's okay. Fans are going to do whatever they have to do to protect their team. There's no doubt about it. But Trevor balled out. I love the way he played. He's a tough hombre, man. I'm behind that kid, and I have been, but I like him a lot. He can lead my team any time, man. He's a total stud, and he went to battle. All right, let's just look at it from a stat standpoint. Very impressive by Trevor this week, and let me tell you why. because he was hovering around 6.5 yards per attempt, meaning not really throwing the ball down the field that much. This one, he was 25 of 37, which was 68%, 67.5 roughly. I rounded it up. 315 yards and 8.5 yards per attempt. 8.5. That's over 2 yards. That's 2 yards greater than he was doing throughout the, on an average, the other games, the first 4 games. So I love that. 8.5 yards per attempt. 1 touchdown, 0 picks. Now, Josh Allen, 27 of 40. Pretty good. Same percentage, basically. 359 yards. He was throwing some dimes, too. Guy's wide open. I mean, just breakdowns. Look, overall, defense played pretty well, but you got to have focus on every single snap. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Josh Allen, 9 yards per attempt. That's getting it down there. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Great interception by Darius Williams, and timely, too, man. We needed that one for sure. But here's the difference. Trevor was under assault. 8 hits, 5 sacks. Are you kidding me? And they could have there could have been 1 or 2 more, and he took more hits than them. And he took that one with the hip that scared me. I mean, look, Espinosa and when he's out, what a player. I mean, what a player. Now, granted, was it just because he went against our guys? I don't know, but he looked like freaking Cornelius Bennett out there, making plays all over the place. I mean, he's got something going on, and look, Vaughn just getting off the injury, and they're going to be tough. The Bills are going to be tough. So, you know what? Maybe this win helps us have home field advantage. We don't know how it's going to work out. It's too early in the year. But I do know this, like I said, our QB, phenomenal. Under heavy duress, pretty much most of the game, and took a lot of big hits and just keeps coming, man. You're not going to hurt that kid. You're not going to, I knock on wood, but I love him. I absolutely love him. And like I said on Friday, it's time for him to show the world that he is right up there with the Allens, with the Mahomes, which he's not there. Don't get me wrong. He is with Allen because he's proven it. He's 3-0 against them, and the stats are pretty close most of the time, at least this game. And again, you're talking about, we hit Josh Allen 6 times, but 0 sacks, although the one on, the Josh Allen, our Josh Allen, look, we've been saying it here. I've been saying it. I know Grammage and me, when we talk, you got to have an inadvertent helmet to helmet. You got to have it. They don't always mean to hit the guy in the face. And the guy ducks, the guy moves, whatever. You get pushed in. You can't. If it's blatantly, I'm driving my head into his face. Totally get that. 15 yards, automatic first down, maybe possible ejection, depending how violent it is. But inadvertent, shoulder to the face, helmet to the face, it should be 5 yards, and that's it. Look, they're gonna call this stuff. The one on Muma was, what? But here's the thing. The refs are under so much pressure, they have to call it. They see anything close, I'm throwing the flag out. I'm just throwing it out. Because if I don't throw it out and somebody gets seriously concussed or hurt or worse, they're going to put it on me, right? So they're going to throw the flag. And then, do we change it with look, replay, like slow motion replay? Did he really duck his head or his shoulder? Sometimes they duck. Sometimes the target ducks. You can't do anything about it. The NFL, next NFL owner meetings, you've got to implement an inadvertent helmet-to-helmet rule or penalty. 5 yards. It's got to happen. You can't have games decided. And I'm not saying it was a big one. That would have been a big sack by Josh Allen on their Josh Allen at that moment, without a doubt. Would have changed. They scored after that, didn't they? If I remember, I can't remember.
Yes, they did.
They did, right? That was a big play.
Gabe Davis scored 2 plays later.
Right. So that could have changed the outcome of that drive, without a doubt, if they didn't call that penalty and called it what it was. So, I don't know. Listen, they got to do something about that. Grammage is now in here with me. Grammage, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, sir.
We got our teal on. Everybody's happy. Hey, I'll tell you this. And I'm sure there are people out there, I called it, but who called 2-0 in London? Anybody? Anybody call 2-0? Like, we'll be back 2-0, no problem. Anybody? No, I didn't. Now, granted, I called them to win. I just had a gut feeling, but on paper, I didn't think they were going to win.
I think most people thought they'll beat the Falcons
and lose to the Bills. Yeah. Right.
By the way, I did just see some Zay Jones news. MRI on his knee says that he is day-to-day.
Okay, that's good. That's a good sign. All right.
If he's day-to-day on Tuesday.
Yeah. Could be a bone bruise, could be something like that. Maybe a little meniscus, but that hurts. I've done my meniscus, depending on how bad you do it, but you crack that at all, that you're not running on that sucker unless they clean it up.
Yeah, and I mean,
we get Smoot back this week though, don't we? I think that'd
be huge.
Yeah, I think we may get him this week.
This is a pro Dewan Smoot podcast.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's funny. I was going through my old, so during the game, I'm on Twitter and I'm just, whatever, giving my opinions and whatnot. And there was a moment where I was like, where in the hell is Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker? I'm like, I haven't seen anything. And then all of a sudden, boom, they both make plays. Like right after I sent it to, I was like, all right, well, at least they're making plays. But they did. They disappeared. The one thing about this game, we looked really good. And then we lagged a little bit. Like that third quarter was a lag, even on offense, even with Trev. Like his first half was dynamite. And again, you missed my praising the young man. What did I say on Friday, Grammage? He's got to duel Josh Allen. You want to be considered one of the top? You got to duel the top, and he did.
He outdueled
under heavy duress.
He outdueled him.
You could say he outdueled him because of the duress. I mean, he was under fire, Trevor. He took a lot of big shots. He's a tough son of a gun, man.
Josh Allen,
I love that kid.
He made a couple of big plays. I'm not going to say he didn't, but I felt like play to play. Just getting completions, moving his offense down the field. Trevor played the better football game.
Yeah, and look, I do think that the Bills were a little flat starting off, but they 100%. Picked it up, and that's expected, right?
And when they picked it up,
did pick it up. It was. You could see that second half was a lot different than the first half for them.
To your point, you just made with the Jags, kind of lagged a little in that third quarter, even on offense. I agree with you. It sort of felt like Bills were sleepwalking, so Trevor and offense are moving the ball. Bills elevate their play a little bit, so Jaguars dip a little because Bills are playing better. And then fourth quarter comes, Jags are like, okay, we got to step it up even another notch, and they do.
Yep.
Travis Etienne goes crazy in the fourth quarter. Trevor makes some insane plays.
And it's not just the players, because the play calling got conservative on offense, and they went into this soft coverage on defense. I can't stand that crap. But, like, put the pedal to the metal. You got them. You got them right where you want them. Don't let them back in. I typed that. I was like, man, don't let them back in. You got all the momentum.
And when you've been running a certain type of defense that is more aggressive for whatever reason throughout the duration of the game, and it's been working, you're bailing the offense out if you go away from that. For whatever reason, the offense is not liking you doing that, right? It's giving them problems. So keep doing what's giving them problems until they prove they can beat it.
Yeah, I agree. You said it. Etienne, great fourth quarter. All he needs, what I say, Graham, what does he need? Just a what?
A little crease. The smallest little crease.
And I say, somebody said that, I think. Like, just give him a little bit. That's all you got to give. I don't know even how he snuck through there, but he did. And then he was gone.
If you can get him to that second and third level.
Oh, yeah. He's trouble.
And what I think he's gotten better at this year, which I really like, and he did this more in college, which I really liked. Last year, it felt like when he would get to that second and third level, he was looking for too much contact. And I'm like, dude, you're faster than every single person you're going to be in a foot race with here. Why lower your shoulder and hit a safety when you can run right by him and go get me 50 more?
Remember early on last year where he was getting caught. And we're like, I thought he's this home. And then later, as a guy, then you're like, no, nobody's catching him. No, because maybe he was looking for that instead of just flat out running. He's doing great. He had a great game, no doubt about that. 26 for 136, 5.2 yards per carry.
2 tubs.
And 2 touches, which is great. He was very good. Listen, as far as, Jags being out there for 2 weeks, I mean, look, Etienne did say it was different from first week to the second week. But that's not an excuse to losing. Like that to me is weak. You can't make excuses for losses. You can. Players can't. Fans can do whatever the hell.
I was about to say, I don't believe
players can't, but fans can. Players cannot make any kind of, and they shouldn't. I don't think they will.
And I was about to say, to be fair to the Bills, I don't recall a coach or player making the excuse. It's just fans on Twitter.
Yeah, it was fans. Yeah, totally.
To your point, fans can say whatever the hell they want. They're allowed to say whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, it's fun.
But Josh Allen's not out here saying, "Yeah, man, that was really unfair," and McDermott's not saying that. So,
I mean, he threw for 360 yards. He was pretty good.
Stephon Diggs was pretty good.
Stephon Diggs is really good. And
that
Gabe Davis had a big day, too.
He did.
You know, I will say, like, and like Darius Williams' pick was so timely, so needed.
What a play.
You know, we lost. And look, it's easier said than done, but we lose a little focus from time to time. I don't have the answer as to why. Like, you look at Tyson Campbell, really overall did a pretty good job. He was physical. He was on point. What happened? He misses the jam. How did he miss it? Did his eyes look inside? Like, did he look, at the ball before? Did he totally focus on Diggs? He totally whiffed on him. That's like, how do you whiff on a guy when you're Tyson Campbell? You don't whiff on guys. You got the speed, you got the agility, you got the length, but he did for whatever reason. Cam Robinson, now granted, first game back, I get it. But you have a letdown in pass pro. Right at critical moments, right? Which you can't have happen. I know people will be like, he's rusty, he's going to make it bad. Okay, great. He should. You got to protect your quarterback. You got to give him a chance.
Can't be giving up strip sacks when you're out there.
You can't. You cannot. And look, as far as the fumbles are concerned, Trevor's got to know pressure's coming. He's got to feel that it's coming. It's his responsibility to secure the ball. Now, if he's in the middle of throwing, getting hit, that's a different story. But when he's in the pocket and things aren't going well, and then he's trying to get out, and then they get him, that's your responsibility. Because now you become what? A running back. So you can't fumble. And that's what it was, right? You can't, he's got to secure the ball a lot better. Now, he also missed a couple guys, which I'm okay with, especially the one. I think he missed Kirk when he took off and ran. I think he had Kirk. Yeah, you saw the replays kind of over the middle. It would have been a dime, I think it was about 15, 18-yard kind of dig. But he took off and ran. I think got the first down anyway. Keep doing that. I'm good with that, man. I think you need to do that to keep that rhythm, to keep that flow. And again, he's such a weapon with his feet and legs that you don't think about it until it happens to you, and they're like, holy cow, this guy's really not only big, but he's really fast too. What were you saying?
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
I was
good,
just saying
man.
that I totally agree. If I'm never going to be upset if Trevor scrambles and gets the first down because the yardage is there.
Yep.
Even if it does mean you maybe gave up some yards or whatever, I'm never going to be upset about him just going and moving the chains.
Yep.
So
yep.
I totally agree with you. And I also think that and as far as the fumbles are concerned, I think we're in agreement. I think everyone that watched the game is in agreement that first strip sack, there's nothing he can do. Any QB would have fumbled in that exact situation. That's on Cam Robinson. The other one, was it two more or one more?
It was one more.
I think it was one more. I agree.
He was going out to his left, I think, and they got him on the
Trevor
side.
has fumbled in that exact same fashion before.
Yeah, he has.
Where I think what happens is
he's still trying to make a play is what happens.
Yeah, correct.
Instead of tucking, which, look, what do all quarterbacks think, Graham? They can make throws from freaking on the ground.
Correct.
Hey, look at me throwing my knees 80 yards. I can do anything with this arm. So the ones that believe in that, they're always what? Can I?
Until the last possible second.
Can I maybe get it out? But a lot of times there's a little risk. My point is, you got to know they're there. Like, you got to know they're coming. Like, think about it. We all know what? Within 3 seconds, 2.5 sometimes, the ball's out. In most offenses, right? So they know that clock. The receivers know the clock. They know the clock. But when that clock gets past 2.5, 3, you got to know, like, you're going to get hit. There's no way you're not going to get, unless you get out of dodge, right? You tuck and run and make something happen, or you find somebody at the last second, but you got to know it's coming. He'll get more. I guess it takes time. And in his defense, he was getting killed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was getting killed. I don't think he's got a lot of trust in his O-line. He'll say he does because that's the kind of guy he is and leader he is, but I don't think he has much trust in them at all.
Yeah.
So those, and a couple of those plays he threw, they take a little time getting the receivers down the field. Now, granted, Ridley gets down the field very fast, but it does take time. It's not a quick 5-yard slant or 10-yard hook, or curl or whatever. So that he's going to just have to fight through that. And if I'm his quarterback coach or Doug even, take off. It's okay. It's okay. Just know they're coming. So if they're coming, you gotta hightail it out of there.
By the way, his mobility has more than one time this year, and you and I have already talked about this, and we're in agreement on this.
Yep.
His mobility, I think, is keeping him upright sometimes. If he had no mobility, there's a high probability that a quarterback with no mobility in Trevor's situation would have gotten hurt up to this point.
I tell you,
but Trevor's ability to escape some of that contact is big.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I was just going to say, and I didn't mean to cut you off. He saved Anton Harrison from injury. He grabbed his leg. Did you see that when he rolled up on him? Go rewind that. When he gets sacked, one of the sacks, he rolls into Anton's leg. And he literally, when he rolls up, he's got it in his hands. Like he saved his ankle. I think he pulled his ankle. Go watch. I forget which sack it is, but go watch it.
Wow,
I was crazy. Like, holy cow! I think he saved, because that would have been that's how linemen get hurt. They get rolled up on. Next thing you know, like
knees, ankles,
all that stuff. But
those big, tall men.
Yeah, he ends up with it in his hand. It was like I think he felt like
I didn't notice
going over it. Yeah, go check that out.
Crazy.
And then maybe on Friday, if you remember, you'll be like, yeah, I did check it out. But, so, look, we'll take the victory. It was a great victory. I got a new song title for Darius Williams, titled 2 Picks in London. I like it. We got to come up. We give that to Dan Hicken to do a little song for him.
How funny and ironic is it that the Jacksonville kid, Creekside's very own,
I know, that's
goes
wild.
to London and just goes crazy.
Yeah.
Just has 2 unbelievable games.
Big time game-deciding place. Really, without a doubt.
Coach Campo on Sunday night, during the 5th quarter, made a really good point that I hadn't thought about. And that Coach Campo coached DBs for that's his bread and butter. DBs.
Yeah, he's a DB coach. Yep.
He was saying that on the broadcast they said this. I didn't notice it. I was just too excited after the pick. I wasn't even listening to the broadcast for those couple of seconds or whatever. But on like Twitter, people said this or whatever. A lot of people were saying when Josh threw that bomb to Stephon that it was really kind of like an arm punt, throwing it deep.
Yep.
And Coach Campo said, I disagree with that. It's not an arm punt.
Yep. Because
if Darius Williams didn't make that interception, Stephon Diggs is making that catch.
Right.
It wasn't.
Was that when he underthrew him, or was that a different play? Because he underthrew Diggs on one. He had him. I think maybe it was just the catch he had down there. I think he underthrew him on the one. He had to wait for it. Or was it on the interception? I can't remember.
I'm not sure, but
that was a great pick. Great wrestling it out of the hands.
And that ball was not going to hit the ground.
No, right.
Stephon Diggs is catching that, or Darius Williams is catching
one or the other, yeah.
And by the way, people always say the arm punt, and that's not necessarily wrong sometimes when you make that deep throw on a 3rd and long.
Just throw it down there, get a pick. It's same as a punt.
And that's a lot of pressure on the DB because not only in that type of situation does Darius Williams need to pick it off to avoid a completion, but also, how easy is it in that type of moment when the ball is in the air for forever to get a pass interference?
Yeah. Well, they got to change that too, man. I mean, you see these DBs running stride for stride. They throw the back shoulder. The guy stops, and you hit him.
There's nothing you can do about that.
There's nothing you can do about it. Again, inadvertent. They do know the definition of inadvertent at the NFL offices, I would imagine. But we got to add that. You got to implement that into some of these rules because things are going to happen. You're going to hit helmet to helmet. You're going to hit shoulder to helmet. You're going to hit something to helmet. But not every single time are you aiming for the helmet. There are guys that do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But a lot of times, I'm just trying to make a tackle. Or I'm just trying to make a play. I'm just trying to get my hand up so the quarterback doesn't have a free throw. I'm sorry if it accidentally comes down near his head. And you're going to say, roughing the passer. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a little extreme on the one side, but still, like, it's inadvertent.
And again, we've talked about this on this podcast, and I think most people would agree with this. when you see a hit, we all know a dirty hit when we see it.
Yeah.
And
like
we
the
all
kid
know,
stomping on the kid's head in college.
Yes, it's
you
like
saw it, right? That's deliberate.
We all know you can't do that. And I totally agree with you. And I think just in general, just in concept, there needs to be more 5-yard penalties given in the NFL, as opposed to there's too many penalties where the slightest little thing happens, 15 yards automatic first down.
Right. I agree.
Why does every single thing need to call for that?
Right.
Why can't some penalties just need to be 5 yards?
Right. Well, that's where that inadvertent would come in.
And if it's 3rd and 3, that's a first down. But if it's 3rd and 12, and there's an inadvertent 5-yard penalty, make it a 5-yard penalty. We redo the down and we keep it pushing.
Well, I was saying earlier, too, the refs are under a lot of pressure to throw the flag. Because if somebody gets
100%.
like DeMar Hamlin, now granted that was his heart, but what if it was his head or something like that, right? Concussed, out, lifeless. The ambulance has got to come on the field. He's fighting for, whatever. They're going to blame the ref. Right, they are. They're gonna be like, "Man, you didn't even call that. How could you not call it?" So now they're throwing it. They see it flash in their face. They're throwing it. And even the interference. They're throwing it. Many of you guys touch. They're throwing it.
And the NFL has admitted they have publicly said that they have told their refs to protect the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're the money. You got to.
Correct. If it's a 50-50 could go either way, it's going the quarterback's way.
Yep.
A 50-50 call isn't a 100% call if it's on the quarterback.
No, right.
That
You're
Josh Allen sack, I totally disagree with the call.
Yep.
But I'm just telling you, almost every ref in the league is going to make that call.
They have to make. That's what my point. They're under the pressure to make it.
You're exactly right.
He's got to throw the flag. My point is, okay, maybe you throw the flag, then you go watch it, and you're like, he didn't really duck his. Yeah, this should be a 5-yard. Or you see it already, or maybe someone else sees it from another angle. Like, listen, man, it wasn't deliberate. I can vouch. Or whatever.
Josh Allen lowered his head.
Right. Could be different.
100% agree with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with walking that back and saying it's just 5 yards.
Yeah.
There's a reason that there's running into the punter versus roughing.
Good call. It's the same thing.
Because roughing is straight up like you're putting his body in unnecessary danger.
Right.
Running into is, hey, I was trying to block it. I backed off.
Or someone blocked me into him or whatever.
Yes.
That's, running into the kicker.
It's even worse in college because those kids get ejected.
Yeah. No, I know.
I know we're not talking about it.
No, I know. I hate that's ridiculous.
It's insane.
The Muma hit, that's one where you should have able to relook at that and be like, all right, that's not a penalty. It just... That was like an inadvertent thing.
To be fair to the Bills, Jordan Poyer's penalty was not a penalty in my opinion either.
I agree.
On Calvin Ridley.
I totally agree with that.
So to be fair to the refs, I disagreed with those calls, but at least it was consistent on both sides.
Yeah.
I felt like the refs, maybe we disagree with some calls here and there, but I didn't feel like it was slanted either way. I felt like it was...
That's the fan, come on. The refs are part of the human error. They just, unless you want robots out there, which... Who knows what happens down the road, but they're going to make errors. They're going to have human errors. And in their defense, and I'm not a huge ref guy, you know what I mean? But they see it really fast. It's almost like a batter hitting a fastball. Like he's just swinging, right? He can barely see the damn ball coming. He just knows it's coming, and he's going to take a swing at it.
We judge it by slow motion.
Right.
When they saw it in real time.
Right.
I also think, and I think most reasonable people agree with this. Coaches always say this. I have no problem with the way a ref calls a game as long as it's consistent.
Yeah, agreed.
If you're going to call ticky-tack calls, call
hand fighting and the DB wide receiver, that kind of stuff, I totally agree with that as long as you keep it the entire way.
If there's a lot of laundry on one side, you better have laundry all over the place the whole game.
I agree.
Both ways. If you're going to let them play, you better let them play on both sides.
The refs never...
When I have problems with the refs,
I never look at the refs. I don't.
The only time I ever get upset with the refs, like legitimately, is if there's a certain call that they haven't called all game,
right?
And there's a pivotal moment and they just decide to call it. That's when I get upset.
Yeah, like which reminds me, was it Seattle in the Super Bowl? They called a holding on a touchdown.
Right, this past through the Eagles. They called it the Eagles with the Chiefs.
No, well, this was a long time ago, but you're right. They did. Yeah, you can't have those. I agree with you on that.
It's like I don't know.
Like even with everyone, and again, they did it with replay. Miles Jack wasn't down. I mean, that's just part of the game. They didn't see it the way we want to see it. Whether it's fair, whether you think it's right, wrong, whatever, it doesn't matter. It is the call. You can't change. I mean, think about, I always find it like when the league or the ref has to apologize. Yeah, I made the wrong call. Well, it's too late now. You made the wrong call. Like, I don't know. All right, let's go through the stats real quick. I got to run here in a little bit. I'm interviewing Ken Shamrock, the Hall of Famer and the UFC wrestler. Man, what a story. Looking forward to interviewing him up at the Tommy Mack's place at my bar for the Horse's Mouth. All right, I went 7-6 in picks, Scrammage. Not good. I did have the Jags, though, and they were high on my list. What's that?
That's still above 500.
You know, I love the way you look at things half full, man. I really appreciate it.
The Jaguars postgame show with Mike Dempsey and Tony Smith gave you a shout.
They did.
Oh. I heard them.
Well, a week before I did like 12-3, so that was pretty good. But this one was 7-6. I tried to call an upset in Dallas and San Fran. That did not go well. That wasn't good at all. Denver, how about the way they lost? Oh, do you have a problem with Sean Payton ripping on Russ? I don't.
No, I don't have a problem.
That was a critical moment. Like, same for same deal. If he would have lost that fumble, they take it back to the house, I'd be ripping him for not securing the ball. You got to know they're coming, for crying out loud.
I would have a problem with the coach not doing that.
Yeah, agreed. Same.
You hold your players accountable, man. Be upset.
No doubt about that. Of course,
you coach it or allow it.
Indy beating Tennessee in the AFC South. It's a big one. Now, listen, Jag fans, I don't want to hear, oh, they came back from London. Oh, they didn't do that. Blah. No. If they don't show up Sunday, their feet will be held to the fire. I don't want to hear none of this crap. This is, you come back. You decided not to take a bye. They could have, right? This is where they could have had a bye. They chose not to. Now we got the Colts. It's a big game. Minshew Mania coming to town. We'll talk about it on Friday. But no excuses here, man. You come back on fire and ready to rock and roll. You're in you should feel unbelievable coming back from London at 2-0. You should feel unbelievable that you beat the Bills. Okay, it was just like when I saw or heard about we didn't have a good week of practice leading up to the Chiefs in week number 2. I'm like, what the hell is that? What are you talking about? How do you not have a good week of practice when the champs are coming to town and you just beat the Colts on the road for a big division win and then you don't? No. There'll be none of that. There'll be none of that. Of course, Houston losing a tight one to Atlanta. Good job. Hey. You know, Atlanta's got a decent defense. They do. And if they get it together with Ritter, they may have a shot. But
I think both those teams are good young football teams.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. Pittsburgh taking care of, hey, G-Con, what's up, mate? Steelers taking care of Baltimore. That was a good game. That was a fun game to watch. KC Minnesota was a great game to watch. That was awesome to watch. KC giving a run for the money. Very cool. Green Bay, Las Vegas last night. Blah, 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 blah. Nonetheless, all right, let's look at the stats as we wrap up today's show. 25-20. Yards per carry, Jags, 4.9. Woo! Bills 2.1. Losers. They didn't really run the ball. They did. I got to give them credit. I think Damian Harris had a good yards per carry, but he barely ran the ball, so it was barely nothing. Yards per attempt went through that. We were at 8.5. Way to go, Trev. 68%. Decent. Very good, I should say. 9 for Josh at 68% himself. Third down. This is what I'm talking about on offense. 10 for 18, 55.55%. That's a bunch of 55s. That's a Tommy Mack third down, baby. I love it. 10 of 18 on offense. Fantastic. 5 of 12 on defense. Okay. Needs to be a little bit better. That 41.7%. Nobody went for it on fourth down. Of course, the sacks, they had 5, and we had none. That's not good. And then they had we had the one pick. They had, Trev didn't throw a pick. So there you go.
You could argue the Jaguars should have had one with the Josh Allen sack, but
I agree. Crappy call.
But nevertheless, these are the stats. So.
Yeah, so there you go.
That still would have been 5-1, which is
third down, baby. Third down. That is huge. That's extending play. What did you have to do to keep the Bills off the field? And you did. You did your part. So it was a great victory. You should have feel really good about yourselves, and then it's back to work on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. I just saw Log. You just tell me when they got back. They're going to be tired a little bit, too freaking bad. Get to work, and let's take care of business at home against the Colts. It's going to be a big day here in Jacksonville. All right, that'll do it for me. I want to thank Team Tommy Mack, of course. You guys rock. Whether you need an attorney, get out of jail, you need some food, you need some flooring, you need some of the best meat, you need some hauling and lifting and cleanup, I got it covered. Team Tommy Mack. Love having you a part of it. Thanks to 1010XL. And for Grammage and myself, we'll see you next time right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Until next time, stay safe and be cool, man. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace.